Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is a blessed day here. It is Tuesday. I don't remember what day it is.
March
March
13th.
14th.
14th.
I should know
Yeah.
that. It's Pi Day. It's Pi Day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We are here today on debut show of I'm Disability Strong. Are you? Are you? We are with Ted Liegel, the founder of I'm Disability Strong. Are you? Which is on Facebook currently. There's a page on there. This is being broadcast here on Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy, on Facebook and on YouTube, and also on Conversations with the Catses. Um, Judy's not here tonight because she's got a class that she's hosting. It should be ending probably in the next half hour or so, maybe 15 minutes. It's going to be on the Facebook page there as well. So, as most people probably know who I am. Captain Jay here with Quake RYC Praise News. And that's the other part of Conversation with the Catses. So introduce yourself, Ted, a little bit, and tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some of the questions.
My name's Ted Liegel. I'm actually the creator of I'm Disability Strong Are You. I'm also the president of Legal Legacy Home and Business Services and Legal Legacy Home and Business Services restaurant finder page at the moment. I created I'm Disability Strong Are You basically as a way to show people that disabled people aren't just weak and we do not allow our disabilities to get in our ways. And also as a way to show people that being disabled is not a bad thing, and that everybody's disabled at one point in their life or another. If you've ever had an injury that temporarily made it to where things in your life are difficult. The question being is what does God give you to learn how to get past it, and how do you work with other people to get past the things you can't do? And that's where we're at on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And just a little backstory about Ted and I. We met probably close to 20 years ago, something like that. Oh, we lost Ted. Ted has left the building. Hopefully we'll get him back in here in a sec. Not sure what happened to Ted there. So I'm going to put up a little quick video here while he goes to come back in. It's a little video about our ministry here at Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. Just gives a little background about what we do and who we are.
Integ. Hey, it's gonna be one to remember right here. What it do, dirty? Yeah, what it do, y'all? Welcome. I want to invite you and your friends in to the mixtape titled Integrity by none other than your boy, Integrity. Can you take a stroll with me? Now my mama raised me to have hospitality, you dig? So now that I have invited you in, I want you to feel comfortable. Cause there's no pressure, what's mine is yours. You know that mi casa, su casa thing. Again, I say welcome. Now as we take a stroll up these front steps, you're gonna see a couple scrapes and scars on the concrete. But have no fear, cause everything on the outside ain't always an indication of what's on the inside. You can't judge a book by its cover, you feel me? Now come on, let's continue this journey through integrity. Now as we walk through the hallways, I want you to take notice of all the portraits and paintings and pictures that indicate landmark events in my life. And from here, we're gonna take a stroll, we're gonna hang a left, and we're gonna go down the stairs into the basement. Cause I feel like being transparent. Cause see, not many people can see what goes on in the basement of integrity. And since we family, it's suitable enough for me to give you a glance at something that very few people have witnessed. See, it wouldn't be right for me to show you just the pretty pictures in the hallway and not show you the not so pretty things that's stored away down in the basement. You know, the real stuff, the stuff that usually gets hid by a fake smile or a fake grin, when really deep down on the inside, we carrying baggages and baggages of unpacked, traumatizing, life-changing issues. But enough of what's down here in the basement. Come on, follow me. We're gonna head to the backyard. Come on, you see my garden? See over there, we got a section of freshly bloomed red roses. But if you look a little bit to the left, you will see those flowers over there. And they pretty much died out. cause their season has passed. So in other words, take the good with the bad, cause that prepares us for what's up ahead. And that's where we headed now, to the front yard. And I showed you the backyard first, cause in order to know where you're going, you gotta know where you came from. Now be careful and watch your step, cause this is freshly paved concrete that we're walking on. Which symbolizes sometimes you have to take a new path in order for you to be able to proceed forward. You dig it? Now as we walk around in this front yard, I want you to feast your eyes on that small lake over there with the little wood bridge. See, this is kind of the highlight of this journey through integrity. See, I've showed you the hallways, I showed you the basement, I showed you the backyard, but I've been anxious this whole time to bring you to this beautiful view right here. Let me explain. See, because in order to get to the river, you have to cross over the bridge. And I know you're saying, integrity, why you want to show me this bridge and this river so bad? Cause see, when you cross over that bridge, you get to the river. And I know you probably asked me, what's so fancy about this river? See, it's not just a river. It's living water. Let's roll through integrity. Let's get it.
Hey, we're back. So
Hey,
we lost you again. Man, we technical difficulties here with Ted. And I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation. That's a little bit about us. We had met like about 20 years ago. Well, back in Woodstock, Crystal Lake area up by Chicago. So I'm not sure what's going on here with this connection. So I'm just going to play a couple of videos here, because that's what kind of what we do here besides talking to folks. Oh, and he's popping back in.
sorry about that. Having a little bit of technical difficulties with my wonderful computer at the moment. I apologize for that. We'll fix
Oh, you're good.
these in
You're good.
the next show, I promise.
you're fine. You're fine. So I was just playing a little video in there just to get some.
Yeah, I saw part of it. I
Oh,
actually like that. That's a really good video.
thank
So
you.
let's go ahead and get on to the questions that I was going to have you ask me, so that we can start kind of doing what the process of the show is.
Absolutely. So I got some questions here. The first question we have is, so what is your disability?
I was actually born with spina bifida, myelomeningocele. Spina bifida is a progressive neurological disease. Not disease, birth defect caused by, literal translation is open spine. So that's what it's caused by. It's caused by the spine being open to the fluids in the womb, deteriorating the spinal cord or column itself.
Okay. I didn't know all the details behind it, so I appreciate that. I learned a little
Mhm.
bit on that. So what kind of limitations does this create for you?
Being born with spina bifida myelomeningocele, I have hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. I have uh, partial paralysis from the waist down. Basically, I'm a paraplegic, um, and I am. It basically messes with everything from my waist to my toes. As far as feeling, I lose my feeling at my knees, just about, and
Okay.
it affects my balance, so I can't walk without aid. But most of the time, I spend my time in a wheelchair because the crutches are creating too much deterioration to my spine and my shoulders.
Yeah. Those crutches can sometimes. I mean, and they're like the arm crutches you use,
Forearm
right?
crutches. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not the under the armpit. Those are rough too. So those are like your
Yes.
secondary legs there. Um,
Hmm.
so how has this affected your overall health?
I'm about to lose you again.
Uh-oh.
Did I not lose you?
No, I can
Hopefully
still
not.
hear you. You kind of froze, but I could
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. I'm trying to get back to you. This goofy, stupid. Okay. Now I can do it.
Yeah, I
There we
said I could.
go. I got back to you. You
There you
got
go.
me right.
I
Awesome.
I heard you the whole time. You just kind of got frozen, like you were frozen there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm learning it. I got a new phone and I'm learning the new systems with the new phone, so it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we'll get there.
Yep. No problem. No problem.
Next time
Learning the
I'll try to
technology.
get on the computer itself. That'll make it a little bit easier, but today I had to do via the phone.
Okay. So I think the next question around was how has this affected your overall health?
Um, Believe it or not, when I first was born, obviously they had to close my spine. My feet were actually born in my face, right by my ears. So they had to put a board in between my face and my feet and kind of crank it until my hips popped out of the socket, and then now they put it back where they belong. But they gave me a ventricle shunt, which is a tube that drains fluid from your head to your stomach, um, which was actually developed by a plumber in 1962. He figured, I guess, if you can drain water with a pipe in a sink, why can't you do it with the human body? But he did it with plastics, so that works out really well.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
it's created a lot of issues health wise after I hit about 30. Once I hit 30, I developed a decubitus sore, an ulcer underneath at the top of my leg, which actually ate a hole in my leg all the way to my bone. And it got infected and caused me to get really sick. And in doing that, it just caused a lot of extra health issues. Once you get sepsis, which is what I was, you have to be on IVs. I've been on IV. I've been sepsis now 5 times since 2000, and I've been on IVs all 5 times since 2000. Recently, and the hardest thing that I've had to overcome actually is I had a heart attack in November, and it was caused because my gallbladder leaked into my liver, my kidneys, my lungs, and my heart.
Oof.
Um, so currently, I have 5 stents and an angioplasty and a gallbladder bag. I'm waiting for the gallbladder to be able to be removed, but I have to be on Plavix until mid-May before they can safely take me off the Plavix. If I'm not off the Plavix, it could cause me to bleed to death during surgery.
Oh wow.
So
Oh
the
yeah, I remember
challenge is that in life, uh, this has been the biggest challenge I've had to overcome in my life. To be honest, it's been very hard to get back to the health that I was before um, because of the weakness it created.
hmm Yeah, I can remember when you were going through that with the heart attack and the hospital and all that. It's not easy to uh, do all that, but grace, no, thanks to God that you got through, and now we're here discussing about what had happened. So that's good. Next question we got is, what would you say is the hardest daily obstacle to living the life you wanted for yourself?
The hardest daily obstacle, I would say, literally is everything. Not everything is accessible the way that it should be. Even the place I live in is not as accessible as it could be. I have stairs to get into the house, stairs to get out of the house, so I have to have people help me get out of the house and in the house with my wheelchair because there's no other way out. It's also difficult because I can't uh, take cabs to get around since I don't drive, and my family currently doesn't have a car, so we're working on trying to fix that to be able to get around a little bit better. Um, but physically, the biggest obstacle I have is literally things not being accessible to the disabled like they should be. That should be
hmm
a necessity, no matter what the building looks
hmm Yeah, like we struggle with parking all the time because that's one of the biggest things people do is they park in the access aisles and stuff, and it's like they're like just run in for a minute, you know. Say, well, it must be really nice to be able to run, you know. But they're just parking in that, and that makes it, and then there's no enforcement of that stuff either, and housing
Yes, and
is.
also not only that, the stores. A lot of them don't have accessible aisles.
hmm
Like when you go into a department store and you're looking for clothes, getting in between the clothes when you're in a wheelchair is really hard to do because the clothes are so close together.
Yeah, and then you end up pulling half the rack down because you're trying to get through. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. And unless you have your personal assistant through the state with you, or your husband or your wife with you that isn't disabled, it makes it a rather challenging situation.
yeah. We've seen some interesting aisle setups, and yeah, life's
Yes,
definitely
definitely.
fun.
But I will say it's a
um,
lot better since the 70s and 80s when I grew up.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even in the days of like at the outside the stores, the curb cuts. Now everything's curb cutted outside the front door of most stores. When I was a kid, I used to have to lift the grocery cart up off the no outside the door and then drop it onto the street or into to get to the car parking lot because it wasn't curb cutted and the doors weren't automatic. You had to push the door open. So all that stuff has
Right.
been improved.
Hmm.
It's a journey. It's a journey. Um,
And the other thing too is a lot of these laws for the disabled aren't written by disabled. They're written
yeah.
by people who aren't disabled, so it becomes a little bit more difficult for them to understand what's necessary
Hmm.
for the disabled to have a better life.
Yeah.
And with I'm Disability Strong Are You, I'm hoping to um, have the population see a little bit more about what we do need as disabled individuals and how we can better the systems that are currently there, um, like the Social Security program, the disability program, so that we could live better lives.
Hmm. Yeah. And then even like traveling, like for hotels and stuff, just being able to go out on a vacation, like we go get an accessible room and they put more furniture in an accessible room because there's room available, the space, and
Yes,
they fill it. Like I had to fill space. No, no, no. You don't understand. You can't get through with the chair. 'Cause they're just trying to make it
right.
look better, and they're like, "Well, no, try it with a chair." And I mean, I tried something a while ago, trying to do it like housing, not housing, but hotel stays, and teach them how to do proper, you know, layout for furniture and stuff in a bedroom in a hotel. So you can't have it where there's a dresser and a bed, and then there's a foot and a half between them. Who cares if
Right,
it's a
because
roll-in
the
shower?
disabled person in the wheelchair can't get through there.
Yeah, you can't get to it. But hey, but it looks pretty. And
That's right. The
functionality
other thing
is
I find is funny is when they give a disabled room and then they say that their bathroom is handicap accessible. Yeah, it's got a wider door. Oh, I'm about to lose you again.
uh,
Hold on. I'm gonna. You can still hear.
oh, gone. We lost him again. He's getting some technical difficulties with his phone there. So I'll go ahead and just play another quick little video here. Um, let's see. What can I go with? Oh, he's back. He's coming back.
I have on my phone as of right now. There's a program that keeps kicking in that I'm trying to get not to kick in, and I don't know how to do it at the moment.
Gotcha.
Technologically, I'm not the smartest individual on the planet. However, intellectually, I try to do the best that I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Technology. Yeah. Yeah. We struggle with technology as well. Oddly enough,
One of
and
the things that I'm also trying to do with I'm Disability Strong Are You is also bring to light, well, not to light, but well, I guess to light would work. The fact that hiring disabled people becomes a difficulty because we get sick so much. So if we're able to work people into the mainstream work through most at home jobs, it would make life that much easier because then when you do get sick, you can just get sick and then come back to work, you know, take a break, come back and do the things you need to do during your day versus being out in public and then suddenly having something go wrong that needs attention right away
hmm
and then you have to leave for the day.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a topic there. I'll do a whole show on that alone. Um,
Yeah, and maybe that's what we'll do with the next show is more of an accessibility thing,
hmm
as far as what the your wife and I and any other guest that would be interested in jumping in on this um, could could input on how they feel society can help change to make things better for those that are disabled. And also, you know, when you say disabled, the disability doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It could be emotional. It could be a learning disability. There's all kinds like most people don't realize it, but Richard Branson has a learning disability, and he's
hmm
one of the richest people in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a learning disability. Like I didn't find out till later, but Um, I guess it's a form of dyslexia. Like I had to have white lettering on background for me to be able to
Uh-huh.
read it really well. I'm like, I had no idea. I just thought I was a slow reader. So I mean,
Right.
I'm like, I mean, I would probably have been better in school if I would have known that, but I
Right.
didn't know. I didn't
Exactly.
know. I didn't know. But now I do what I do because I use that now to help me read the Bible and stuff. That's why I never read before because I couldn't. Well, I could, but it was hard.
And that's another thing that most people don't realize is in the Bible it says that the meek
Meek will
will inherit
inherit
the
the earth. Don't earth?
how it's phrased. I'm not sure, but it means
Yeah.
that that we will be accepted into heaven for sure
Mhm.
based on the disability. And the same thing, people think that disabled people suffer all the time. No, it's not necessarily that we suffer all the time. It's the question being is, what do you do with your suffering?
Mhm.
Suffering to me, the suffering I go through is a gift from God because it helps me understand the good times better than the hard times.
Mhm. Appreciate what you do
And it
have.
helps me find the harder times easier
Mhm.
because I can find ways around those harder times with an easier mind than someone who is not physically challenged. Same thing with somebody who's mentally challenged. They can find ways around the certain things that are mentally challenged. God gives us enhanced other senses to make up for the areas we are that we that we're weak. I guess I'll use the word weak, even though that's really not my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel we're
Mhm.
stronger because of it.
Mhm. Well, yeah, because you got challenged. You have to think. You have to think around, outside the box, inside the box, over the box, all kinds of ways to get stuff accomplished. So,
Hmm.
so that kind of leads me to the next question. Good transition.
Hmm.
How has your disability affected your relationships with your friends and your loved ones?
The hardest part of having a friendship and a relationship is literally transportation because a lot of people, unless they can come to your house and pick you up, and they're able to actually get your wheelchair in the vehicle or and what have you,
Mhm.
it makes socializing very difficult unless
Mhm.
you live in an area where you can go places within walking distance.
Mhm. Or
So I have
rolling distance.
actually, since I got sick, especially found that rather difficult. Before I got sick back in 2004, the first time, I was able to just walk everywhere on my crutches, and I could do miles on my crutches. Therefore, it made it easy to socialize.
Mhm.
But getting out, the internet, the phone, has made it easier. However, at the same time, when you have incontinent problems and you have bladder problems and you have bowel problems and such like that, it makes it even more difficult because people don't want to put you in their car because what happens if you have an accident in their vehicle?
Mhm. That's true. So yeah, there's you have to have people that have a compassion and understanding of the situation to understand,
Hmm.
in that aspect. Or for even
And
public
what I
transport.
found to be able to overcome that is they actually make some tools like um, they make this. I call it a chuck. It's basically a cloth that you can put on your seat. That one side of it will prevent liquid from coming through to the other side.
Oh, okay, that works.
They use them in the hospitals and the beds
Okay, that's something you've kind of learned in
in
the
nursing
time.
homes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing.
yeah.
Can a person with a temporary or permanent disability learn to adapt to the problems? Can they learn to adapt to society and have society help adapt with them to make their life more enjoyable and easier to get through?
Mhm.
Because
Absolutely.
according to the Bible, we are brother and sister. We're supposed to help one another at all times.
Yes. Well, yeah. We're a brother's keeper, and
Hmm.
that's not just necessarily a gender issue. It's a brother and sister. It's a general term
Yeah.
there.
Hmm.
So, what is the hardest health issue you have had to overcome, and what would you say were the biggest reasons you feel you were able to overcome it?
Well, the hardest one would be my heart attack,
Mm-hmm.
and because it took the longest time for me to come back from that, and I was the weakest when my heart attack happened and my gallbladder happened at the same time. The doctor, I was told at one point that I was about 30 minutes from death,
Oh wow.
and being that close to 30 minutes from death was kind of a difficult situation there, as far as that's concerned.
Okay.
It made it very, very hard for me to move forward because I was afraid that it was going to happen again.
Yeah.
And when you're putting it forth an effort and you're trying to make a life, but yet you can't see the possibility of what's going to happen tomorrow, and you're not sure you're going to be able to move forward with your plan of moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's harder to be productive in society. Like when I came up with "I'm Disability Strong Are You," I actually came up with that in the hospital after having my heart attack and my gallbladder problem at the same time.
Okay.
And how I came up with that is one of the people said, one of my friends and my family had said to me, you're the strongest person I know. Well, no, I'm not really. God's the strongest person that you know.
Mm-hmm.
And God gives me the power to have the strength to get past the things that I do
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
people ask me why I believe in God, well, I believe in God mainly because if there wasn't a God, how could I get past all of those things?
Mm-hmm.
Willpower, you can have all the willpower in the world, but eventually the depression gets to you, the
Mm-hmm.
weakness gets to you, and it becomes harder and harder to understand why am I here and what do I have to do to continue to be productive and help other people in society because that's what I want to do. I want to be there to help as many people as I can get to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help as many people as I can to understand that they may have weaknesses, but their weaknesses really are their strengths. As long
Mm-hmm.
as they can learn how to get other people to help them with the weaknesses, that's where the strength is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be strong enough of a person to say, I need help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This it's hard to ask for help and assistance. Anyone has that problem, has that struggles with that. It's
Hmm.
not, and some people see it as a weakness. It's not really a weakness. It's just acknowledging I can't do such and such. I need assistance
Hmm.
with such and such. Whatever that may be. All kinds of
Hmm.
levels. Um, so I'm gonna go to the next question here.
Hmm.
Do you find it difficult to not feel like a burden on your loved ones when at times your disability becomes a challenge?
You're going to find this funny, but growing up, I felt more of a burden than I felt anything else. And a lot of that comes from the way people respond to when I am having a difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Parents sometimes have a tendency of either being too weak and allowing their kids that are disabled to get away with anything, or being too strict, telling them, well, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that because, well, you're disabled and you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in telling a handicapped person or a disabled person that they can't. Um, the thing behind it is you can. The question is, how can you? Not whether you can or can't. How can you?
Yeah.
Within the talents that God has given you, of course, because, like, for instance, I stink at singing. I don't think I'll ever be a good singer, but that's not a God given gift.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect my life.
Yeah.
So it's not something I need to be upset about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, if I can't get up a flight of stairs because the building isn't accessible, the question is, do I get upset about it because there's nothing I can do about it? Or do I find a way maybe I can get around it
Mm-hmm.
and or just accept that it's not going to be possible at the moment and find a time that it is. Because like having a personal assistant, which by the way is through Department of Rehabilitation Services, if you have a handicap individual or a disability of any sort, having a personal assistant through the state helps a whole lot because, like, getting into my house, I have a personal assistant that pulls me up in my wheelchair to get me in my house. It makes it accessible because the rest of my house is flat. Once I'm inside my house, I can feel like a normal person,
Okay.
like everybody else.
Hmm.
So it's just not only is it a matter of adapting, but it's a matter of how can other people help you
Hmm.
adapt, and also how can you help them adapt to you?
Yeah.
Because the burden shouldn't always be on everyone else to adapt, their situation to fit your needs. But there's certainly nothing wrong with somebody helping you to fit the needs that you need in their world.
Hmm. Yeah. Like you said, like telling somebody what they can and can't do, kind of thing. The joke is like with Judy, you don't tell her no, tell her what she can and can't do. Like when we were living in the Quad Cities, I told her we were moving some stuff and I had a twin size mattress. And I told her she couldn't take it up the ramp. That was a mistake. There's a picture proving it. Yes, I was the bad guy that took a picture of her trying to carry it up the ramp. She got about halfway up and it started to teeter her backwards, and she said, "I can't do it." But I told her she couldn't. We had a time with her pastor that I know. We didn't think she should roll home from church because we lived a mile and a half, not even a mile from church. And I go, I would suggest no, you shouldn't roll home. You should like just hop in the van and go. And he's pastor's like, you really gonna let her go roll? I'm like, let her? I'm like, you tell her no. He's like, "Have a good day," and walked off. He's not telling her no. I don't.
Yep.
You
Just
don't
like when I
tell.
was on my crutches in 2000, I visited Phoenix, Arizona. I was visiting a friend, and I apparently fell asleep in the car, and all my friends thought, let's just leave him here because he can't climb up the mountain that we're going to go climb up this trail on his crutches. There's no way he'll make it up.
Yeah.
Well, it's 102 degrees outside.
Oof.
Obviously, that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
And at that point, they had the air conditioner on in the car, so I wasn't really that hot in the car. But at the same time, I realized I woke up and I was like, well, where did everybody go? So I looked
Mhm.
out the window and I saw a trail. I said, oh, they must have gone that way. So I walked up this trail. Well, partway up the trail, it was too steep to go up the trail itself.
Mm.
So I had to kind of go off the trail and into the gravel slash sand slash rocks,
Oh.
one rock at a time, going up this hill, which is kind of more like a mountain than a hill. I get to the top and there's this biker guy at the top, and he's got his son standing next to him, and his son's arms are full of blood. And he says to me, "How many times did you slip?" I said, "None, because if I did, I would have died."
How many
He
times
said,
did
"Then how the heck did you get up here?" I said, "By God's grace, one rock at a time."
Yeah. How many times did you slip? None. Yeah. You found a
But
way.
here's the point: I found a way to do it
Mhm.
by adapting to the surrounding.
Mhm. Yeah.
And, and that is one thing that all human beings are capable of doing. God gives you the gift to do that.
Mhm.
You just have to find the way to adapt that's going to fit your need.
Mhm. Yeah. And
And
it
if
just.
people are looking for a resource and they want to find out how can they get this done, they can either call me at 815-836-6747. They can contact me on Facebook on I'm Disability Strong Are You. They can get in hold of their congressperson or stop at City Hall or their township hall. Most of those locations have the resources that they can give you to find the resources you need. Same thing as a doctor. If you go to a doctor's office and let's say you need transportation, tell the doctor that you're looking for a means of transportation. They'll put you in touch with the social worker at the hospital, which is another great resource. And that person can get you in touch with an avenue to get you to your appointments or
Mm-hmm.
to get you to be able to go grocery shopping. But with today's world, there's so many online shopping abilities that you can utilize that it'll come right to your door. That's another great method. Plus, you can search online, go to Google and put anything in that you're looking for and the area that you live in, and usually you can find a resource that'll help you get what you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
that's one of the things that I want to do with I'm Disability Strong Are You is teach people how independently they can do things on their own, even though it may scare them, they can do it with a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of help from their friends, their family, and society.
Mm-hmm. It takes a village. Everyone has their what they can and can't do, and strengths and weaknesses, and together you could make stuff happen. Um,
Right. Same thing
so,
as bringing down crime. There's all kinds of things we can do
mm-hmm.
as a human race if we get over the fact that we're individuals and go to the fact that we are all here to help each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I think you kind of touched on this earlier on the last question there. Growing up, what was the biggest challenge fitting in with people without disabilities?
Um, Socialization. They wanted to do things that I couldn't do a lot, like play sports. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, I did play sports. I played football with my brothers, and I played soccer with my brothers, baseball with my brothers, basketball with my brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and I did all that on crutches. It was just a
Wow.
matter of finding what way to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Adapt it, adapt the sport to what your need is,
Mm-hmm.
adapt the activity to what your need is. And that's
Yeah.
something that parents need to start working with their children to be able to do is teach them, okay, these are the things I know my child can do. Let's take something they can't do and find out how close they can get to being able to do it completely on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But showing them that it is okay to need the help to get that extra step or two.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my personal assistant, anything in the house that I can do, I don't ask for help with. But if it's
Yeah.
something I at the moment can't do because my disability stops me because I'm sick that day, or it's something I can't reach because it's too high and things like that, I ask for the help that I need. This way, I learn how to live independently at the same time as learn how to co-op live.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are involved in a family, you need to co-op live. When you're involved in a roommate situation, you need to be able to co-op live,
Mm-hmm.
and being involved was the hardest thing. Always
Yeah.
wanting to be involved in everything everybody else was doing, but nobody wanting to give me the chance to prove that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like hunting, I'll give you an example. My father used to go hunting with my brothers. Never once did he offer to take me on a hunting trip. Okay. Just about any disabled person that has movement in their arms can shoot a gun.
Mm-hmm.
They can shoot a crossbow. They can find ways to adapt the situation to them. They can't climb a tree, but I think they actually make tree stands now that a handicapped individual can use too.
Yeah.
So there are ways to adapt to it. The question being is what's the most logical way to adapt?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the easiest way to make it adaptable at that moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have seen the tree stands where it's basically a platform you sit on, and then it's like a pulley system to
The
pull you up
pulley
into it.
system, yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't know if it would be strong to pull my butt up that. 300.
Believe,
Yeah.
and well, that's the other thing I'm going to tell parents of disabled individuals. Start working on your child's strength.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
If they've got the ability to use a muscle, use it.
Yeah.
Because that heart attack I had, the doctors flat out told me if my chest was not as strong as it was, I would have died.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. And
I would
and
not have made it through that surgery.
yeah, the upper body strength helped because you
And
didn't
at the
just.
same time, I wouldn't be able to transfer from chair to wherever I want to go. There's a lot of reasons why, and keeping your legs strong if you have that ability.
Hmm.
I have the ability to move my legs, so I can keep my legs as strong as I can, so that standing and pivoting becomes easier.
Hmm.
Making sure that your children understand that it's a joy to be able to do these things and not a chore, and not getting mad at them because it's going to take a little extra time, is important to a child's independence when it comes to a disabled individual.
Hmm.
In any kind of disability, too, because if they're intellectually slower than the rest of you, you also have to take the time to allow that person to intellectually understand what you're doing. Don't leave them behind.
Hmm.
The every child left, no child left behind law is good and bad.
Hmm.
No child left behind allows children to progress, but at the same time, it doesn't allow them to continue to learn the way that they need to learn to stay at the levels that they should be when they have this, a little bit of a slower situation. When I
Hmm.
was in school, they put me in learning disabled, behavior disordered, physically handicapped, and emotionally distraught classes.
Yeah.
I
Labels.
didn't have a
Yeah.
learning disability. I wasn't slow. I didn't. I was very intelligent. My problem was is nobody understood me.
Hmm.
Nobody understood my disability because I was around people that weren't disabled themselves.
Hmm. Yeah.
Another thing very important, get your kids involved in social programs that have other handicapped people in them. Go online, find social media groups that have handicapped individuals so that people that have whatever disability they have can help them adjust and overcome some of the situations that you, as a non disabled person, may not be able to do.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 Inclusion, basically. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So think our kids are well. When I say special, that special needs, that term is, yeah, but
I don't
there's
even like the
different.
word special anywhere when it comes to disability or when it
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
to needs, because I don't have special needs. I
Different.
have different needs. I have needs for my situation,
Hmm.
situational needs.
Yeah.
That's what I would call it,
Yeah.
because even you have situational needs.
Hmm.
Even the person who is a billionaire still is going to have situational needs that
Hmm.
they can't take care of themselves.
Hmm.
They're not an expert in everything, only God is.
Hmm. Absolutely. So that leads into the next question here. What is the most important thing that you have learned as an adult with a disability?
That people are people regardless of what color they are, regardless of what disability they have, no matter where they're from. We all are human beings. We all have differences, but we also have similarities. Rather than concentrate on all of our differences, why not concentrate on our similarities?
Hmm.
And when the differences come across, find ways to work around them,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
that makes life livable for everyone.
Yeah. Different isn't bad. Different is just different. You know.
That's right.
You might be taller than me. I might be shorter than you, or whatever. This is different. Doesn't mean
We
bad.
are all God's children,
Amen.
regardless of our learning disabilities, our emotional disabilities, our stress levels, our physical disabilities, our inabilities to do certain things because that's not our God-given talents. We are all God's children regardless. And we should treat each other as if we are all God's children regardless. It doesn't matter what religion you are either,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Uh, the biggest thing is we are all human. We are all on this earth together, and the more we segregate each other, the harder life becomes.
Mm-hmm. True. So this next one's kind of a two-parter question. Um, what advice would you give other disabled people on how to handle the bad days with having a disability? And what advice would you give to parents raising a child with a disability, which I think you've already touched on how to help your child grow up independently and accepting their disability?
When it comes to your down days with your disability, let there be down days with your disability, because the more that you take care of your down days and let your body have the rest that it needs, the more up days you're going to have. The harder you stress yourself out over those days, the harder it's going to be to have good days. And the days that you cannot do it yourself, ask for help
Mm-hmm.
and be proud of the fact that you have people there who are willing to help you, even if it's difficult at times for them to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what that amounts to. Don't get angry at somebody because they didn't do it fast enough. Don't get angry at somebody because they didn't do it the same way you do. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to do things differently. The
Yeah.
question being is, did it get it done? That's what matters most, is the
Yeah.
end result.
Yeah. Did it get
As far as
completed?
parents,
Yeah.
again, raise
Mm-hmm.
your children to be children. Raise your children to understand that adults are there to help them. Raise your children that are disabled, that they are part of the family regardless of their limitations, and the other kids should include them regardless of their limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Treat your kids the same way. You know, my mother used to say, "Why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be more like your brother? Why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be more like your brother?" Here's the answer to that: because I'm not.
Yeah.
Every individual is different when it comes to who they are as a person. Everybody's different as to who they are when it comes to their limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different when it comes to their knowledges, their likes, their dislikes. We're all different. We have to learn to accept that and ex- allow those people to express those things without putting, "I'm right, you're wrong," because I'm not right on everything. God's right on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody's right on everything. You're going to have times you're going to be wrong. Just accept the fact that you were wrong and move on to the next.
Yeah. That's always hard. That's hard for some people sometimes.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that about myself, so not just others. I mean,
Let me ask
um,
you this: have you ever had a time with Judy and her disability where you just didn't want to do it because it was so hard?
that I didn't want to help her on something because it was so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking my memory is horrible. She probably have more of an answer, but I don't honestly don't think. I mean, I needs help, with a variety of different things. But there's some, I don't say, more etiquette type stuff that I would like, ugh. And I know friends that wouldn't do it because they've had similar situations. But I'm like, well, we're married. This is what you do, kind of deal.
There you
Not,
go. I
not,
like that answer.
yeah, not that I
And my
didn't
last
want.
question for you is this:
Hmm.
um, have you ever had a situation where somebody did something with Judy where you got upset because it was belittling to her?
Oh, it happens a lot.
And
Yeah.
how do you overcome that feeling?
Let her prove the point. Like, I mean, a quick example is we used to go to the like Lowe's to get because she builds
Hmm.
things. She can build tables and bookshelves, all that kind of stuff. I could barely hold a hammer and hit a nail. I mean, I have. So we'd go in there, people would walk up and they'd ask me, can I help you with something? Like, I don't know. I just have a list and I push the cart. She's the one that's building. And they look and I'm like, yeah. So after a while, they just walk right up to her. So what can we help you with? They knew that
There you go.
knew I had no idea. I have a clue. I don't try to be.
There you go.
So that kind of thing. It's not that they belittled her, but they just kind of said they went right to me because I'm able-bodied guy, and of course I'm the builder. No,
I got to tell
I.
you a funny story about a difficulty. I used to work at Walmart as a door greeter. Well, from
Mhm.
time to time, they'd have me do stocking in shelves, right?
Mhm.
Well, you know how high those shelves get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Their favorite area to send me, the cereal aisle.
Oh God.
So I would go into the cereal aisle with a cart of cereal that people returned, didn't want and left at the cart, left at the registers, and obviously that goes to customer service, and then people got to put it back on the shelves for resale.
Mhm.
And I would look at the box, I'd look up and be like, okay, now how the heck am I going to get this
Up there.
up there without knocking absolutely everything down, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, God, I know you're going to make this work. I don't know how, but you're going to make this work. And I would take this box in between both hands and I would literally look it up and toss it. And
Yeah.
somehow it would end up in the spot exactly where I
What?
wanted it. Almost, I would say probably 75% of the time that I would toss it, it would end up exactly where I wanted it.
Well, that's a
And
talent.
then there would be times where I would be like, okay, I can't do this on my own. I see somebody coming down the aisle. I'm just gonna wait. They'd come down and I'd say, "Excuse me, sir, could you put this up there for me?"
Yeah.
And they'd look at me and go, "Yeah, sure, no problem." People are not going to tell you no when it comes to asking for help, and nine
Mhm.
times out of 10, they're going to say yes. And you don't
Mhm.
have to feel guilty about it. It's just the way that it is. There's short people who can walk,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah.
can't reach that top shelf. How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
So we all have our crosses to bear. The question being is how do we overcome the difficulty to see the positive of the situation?
Mhm.
And how are we going to get those around us to help us at the times that we cannot, because physics wise, it's impossible.
Mhm.
It's not impossible to God, but us as humans, it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and what made me come to God? What made me come to God? I would say literally was all of the challenges that I was coming across and not understanding why.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah. And
the
that's.
thing that people have to teach their children is nobody knows why. The question is how do you make it a positive situation for you?
Yeah.
Because being disabled can be a positive, not a negative.
Mhm.
That's what I want us to work on with I'm Disability Strong Are You, is people coming forth and showing examples of where they were strong having a disability or a difference.
Mhm.
And even if they needed help to solve the problem, they found a way around it. Because
Yeah.
that's what I'm Disability Strong means.
Mhm.
It means to be able to overcome the obstacles, even if it requires help.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, just don't let the disability stop you because what I'm going to guess to some of our future guests that we're going to have that I've been in contact with. One is a comedian. I don't want to say stand-up comedian, but he goes, he
Hmm.
doesn't have the stamina. Um, because he's in a chair. And then the other, that's one of his jokes. And then the other is he just got back from skiing, adaptive skiing. I
Hmm.
won't go skiing. I have use of everything, and I wouldn't do it. But he went skiing. No, he uses a chair. So there's people that just don't let anything stop them. Judy's another prime
And
example.
lastly, I wanted to quickly say,
Mhm.
because we're coming to the top of the hour here, I wanted to quickly say that um, a person with a disability, I'm Disability Strong Are You, go on Facebook, look up I'm Disability Strong Are You, use that as a method to post experiences as a disabled person that you've had, that you overcame things, also as a parent of a disabled child who's overcome things, but also from the other perspective, when they couldn't overcome something, how did you handle it? And what did you do to make it right?
Mhm.
Because that's what this is all about. I want people to be able to discuss problems with the disability. I want people to be able to discuss the challenges. I want people to show their strengths, show their weaknesses, and be able to be comfortable with that.
Mhm.
If we can make a disability a comfort instead of an area where it's awkward, it becomes a lot easier to deal with for everyone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and so I was going to say that my next line was going to be to say about how to find you on Facebook. For the web for I'm Just Really Strong is on Facebook there, and then your other locations, you have your business page for
Yes, you can go
Legal.
to Legal Legacy Home and Business Services, also on Facebook. You can also go to Legal Legacy Home and Business Services / Restaurant Finder page. Now, that page is designed to help the restaurant community get exposure. So when you go to a restaurant, take a picture of your food, post it on that site, give a review, where the restaurant is, and how to contact the restaurant so that that way other people can see it and hopefully will help patronize that restaurant. And if they're not a necessarily great restaurant, in your opinion, maybe they won't have to waste their time going to a place they don't want.
Yeah.
So, because right now we're all struggling in the economy, and the only way to get ourselves out of getting difficulties with the economy is to help each other out.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
that's what that amounts to. Restaurants, businesses, everybody. Help each other out, help each other get through the tough times.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're kind of doing here on what's Quake RYC Praise News. When music is therapy, when we were pulling, working together, helping each other out. I have a platform and ability to do this. I'm helping you get the word out that way. So
Yep.
we're
And I
all
want to say one thing to you. I first want to thank you. Second, I want to let you know that um, if the station is looking for sponsors, I would be willing to spend some time helping to find you sponsors for this show, for one,
hmm
and also for your radio station that may want to run commercials or may want to just donate to the station to help you guys financially too, because we know that
awesome.
this is expensive. It's not cheap.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Yes, yeah. On that note, we are doing a fundraiser telethon type thing on April 1st. We're doing that. It's a marathon, 12 hours that we're going. It's going to be live on Facebook, YouTube, and we're going to be doing interviews with artists and stuff. All no for a 12-hour period, raising funds. So,
If you want
but
to throw me in on an interview for that, I'd be happy to give you some time and do an interview on that day as well.
okay, okay, I'll look at that. No, I don't want to say this. Slots are filling fast. They kind of are as we're reaching out to folks. But I'll see if we can get a spot in there for you on
Okay,
that.
sounds great.
So, but I do want to
Thank
thank
you
you
again.
again.
And I
Yep.
want to thank all those people that actually did listen to this or will in the future.
In the future.
If you listen to the replay, please let me know that you listen to the replay. If you're interested in helping me grow any of my businesses, whether it be through giving me work or giving a donation, you feel free to give me a call, 815-836-6747, or contact me on Facebook as well.
Absolutely.
The work that I do through my company is usually with people who are out of work. So using my company helps our community as well. And the biggest way you can help me that's free, become a recycling customer through my recycling company side. Also contact me. I'll drop off a free bin anywhere in northern Illinois, basically McHenry County, Lake County, Will County, that sort of thing. Um, and we pick it up once a week. Those proceeds go to help pay my workers.
Awesome, awesome. I'm learning something new every day. Every-
Yep.
and we'll have some of those links on your I'm Disability Strong and RU page as well, so that people can follow it there and find it there.
Awesome.
So once again, this is I'm Disability Strong RU with Ted Legal, premiere show here on Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. We plan on doing this again next week and trying. I'm not sure how often, or maybe weekly. I'm not sure 100%
How
on
about
who's
we start with bi-weekly? So
bi-weekly.
we'll skip next week and we'll go the following week. This gives me more time to prepare each show, and at the same
Okay,
time, we can work together to make sure that the shows
absolutely,
uh, are up to par as far as information that we provide for people, because that's the
absolutely,
most important part to me.
yeah,
I want to make
absolutely.
sure that the information we get out to the public is high quality.
Okay, absolutely. So it'll be a
Okay.
bi-weekly show. You'll be able to find it here on YouTube and Facebook, like we were sharing it this time. So until next week, or sorry, next show in 2 weeks, um, we'll have a new guest hopefully on that one. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us on that one. Till then, you all have a good day
Have
and
a
a
great
blessed night.
evening.
Thank you again.
God bless you all.
Oh,
Bye bye.
bye bye.